Hey guys, XJ9 here, and today's going to be a little video about the Sanctum of Rebirth live stream that they did. I didn't watch the live stream, however, I did read this post, and there's some pretty interesting things. So overall, blah blah blah, that doesn't matter. They're going to do a combat beta. We already know it's a 1 to 4 dungeon. So they want your feedback. Here's my feedback. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the deaths in the Sanctum. Okay, so what they want to do is when you die in the fight, so say you're with 4 people, one guy dies to some mechanic, they're going to be out of the fight temporarily, but after a set amount of time, they're going to be able to participate in the fight again. They didn't explain whether or not if all 4 people are down, if they can keep trying or not. Like they didn't specify that. I think if all 4 people are down, you should just lose the fight. But by the sounds of it, it honestly sounds like that's not the case. And even if all 4 people are down, you can just keep redoing it because at the end they even said, would you be more open to trying bosses if you knew you could eventually win? This is the statement that makes me think that if you are all 4 down, that you wouldn't be kicked out of the fight. Okay, so does this death mechanic interest you? I would say a big no because this is so similar to cheesing sign of death at bosses and ring of death. So big no from me. And would you like this mechanic to come to other bosses? No. I mean, it kind of exists at Carapac. You just have to re-enter the boss fight. And again, I think this is such a waste of time because again, death costs are so cheap. My tier 9, my best in slot necromancy gear, a death is like 1 mil. So and also there's item protection, prayer, which costs like nothing. It's literally costs nothing, and I don't even use that. And my deaths are like 1 mil. I think it's like 1.3 mil. And so the fact that we're still focusing on death costs, even though death costs are so cheap, is a waste of time. So overall, I would say no. The only time I think it's okay is if you're doing it intentionally, as in Zamorak was originally going to have a mechanic where you could resurrect players. Like, what if he did an attack that kills everyone and makes you feel like the fight's over, but you have to do something to resurrect your teammates? That's cool. I don't like it when it's just like, oh, well, hey, you died, you come back to life. Like, you failed the mechanic. Like, it has no theme. Like they say it has a theme, like oh because you're at the place of like where souls pass, but it's like we can make it more interesting. I just don't like this. I would rather have a resurrect mechanic that they were trying to do as Zamorak than this BS. So this is a big no from me. I'm sorry. Um, tier 95 magic weapon concepts overall. I mean, it looks okay. Sadly, we didn't get a book, so yeah, that kind of sucks. The third age one looks okay. Again, I mean, it's kind of sucks though because you'll see later on like oh look third age dies right, but you'll see what I'm talking about like poor fracture staff armor users who third age died their stuff. Um, so this is gonna be a new tier 95 dual wield, and what they're gonna do is have a combat beta where there's gonna be 3 set effects at once. So they're probably gonna have an NPC that sells a wand and a core that of 3 different kinds that have different effects for us to test. So wand effect set 1. So non-basic abilities generate 2 stacks of insatiable for 3.6 seconds. They don't mention whether or not this refreshes upon subsequent hits or not. Basic abilities consume insatiable. Also, they don't say what the max stacks is, which I also don't like. Basic attacks consume insatiable, increase adrenaline by 25%. So it's essentially to use thresholds and then basics to get more adrenaline. Consuming insatiable reduces the cooldown of water magic by 6 seconds. Overall, I'll just talk about what I think about this right away. I kind of don't like that this is a flat value. It should be based on how many stacks you have. So like, oh, say the stacks were 15 seconds max, like you could have a 15-second faster wild magic. I don't like that. It's kind of weird because it kind of encourages you. I mean, it says two. It's so weird because it says it generates 2 stacks. Basic attacks consume insatiable, increasing adrenaline gain by 25%. Is this per stack, or like even if you have 100 stacks, it goes away? Like, what's the point of 2? Like, they don't really iterate on what this means. Like, is it every 2 stacks you get 25% adrenaline gain? Like, it doesn't really explain it. But overall, I would like this if the wild magic cooldown was tied more to how many stacks you have, not just a flat value. Wand and orb set 2. I hate this effect, FY. It's the same basic attack. The one mechanic is the same as this one mechanic, so same thing. Use a threshold and then a basic, you get adrenaline. However, it's consuming insatiable has a 25% chance to refresh the cooldown of wild magic. I don't like this. I hate RNG because just like drop chances, let's just say Razor is 1 of 100, which he is. You might go 1 out of 200 for a drop. So there's a chance this might not proc 8 times in a row. I don't like that. It's really bad. I just hate RNG like this. It's only RNG like this is only okay with things that don't matter too much, but are nice to have when it happens. Like, it's a breath of fresh air. I just took a lot less damage. This is a big no-no. So I don't like this side effect. This effect sucks. Orb set 3. This is probably my favorite one. So same was it? So different effect complete. Damage over time. It doesn't have the adrenaline gain. I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't have the adrenaline gain, which I don't think Magic necessarily even needs, unless you want to spam Ivan Blast, which I might encourage. So it's kind of why I don't even like that too much. So what's the Orb Set 3 do? Damage over time abilities deal 30% more damage. Combust and Corruption Shot affected as there are only dot magic abilities. Damage over time abilities generate Essence Corruption with each hit. Again, we don't know. Okay, so 100 stacks, so okay, we do know. They actually do specify the stacks. I have a feeling they like this effect more because notice they have maximum stacks here. They explain this one way more than these two. I think this is the original set effect that we're going with. Like, I think it's kind of telling. Like look how short these are. They look like they were just like made just like that. This one looks like it has way more thought put into it, which I like more. Like this is my favorite one. Damage over time abilities generate essence corruption with each hit. So you use combust with rack and ruin. I think that's 7 hits, right? Max success 100. So if you have 1 stack, your damage over time abilities have a 3% chance to empower, dealing the damage instantly and refreshing the cooldown. So I don't mind this too much because it's not a huge impact ability like Wild Magic, where Wild Magic can hit like 9k 9k. It's also I don't know. It's just a basic. It's not like a threshold because sometimes you might want the threshold to proc at certain points. Like if it does a basic, it's like, oh, my combust refreshed, all of it got consumed. You can use it again. Like it to me, it just seems more chill. Like if that makes any sense. And 25 stacks deal bonus damage against the targets. So 100% of the stacks plus 100% of your magic level. So by default, this thing will do I guess 100 damage, right? And at 50 stacks, basic abilities generate an additional 3.6 adrenaline for over 6 seconds. So essentially, what they want you to do is use Staff of Armadyl combo for 30 seconds, go through these one orbs, do DPS, and then you would probably get close to 50 stacks, get your adrenaline back up, and then go back to your Staff of Armadyl. And I'm not sure if there would ever be a world where you camp these wand orbs. I don't think so because Fracture Staff of Armadyl is so strong. But this is a lot better than like constantly having to switch to like Magma Tempest and stuff. One thing I will say is I don't think you lose the stacks with anything unless you switch the ability or the wand to like a Staff of Armadyl, because they always say that you lose the set of. They don't say you lose it, but they say each of these sets will have the charging passive, which disables the effect until the items have been worn for 9 seconds. I'm not sure if you will actually lose these stacks because people can buff the Bolas Guardian stacks to be a primed hit with the next hit. I don't like that personally. I think if you swap from the Bolas Guardian to something else, you should lose all your stacks. I hope it's kind of the same with this. Otherwise, I think it's a balance issue. So I do hope you lose all your stacks when you swap. Yep, you can test it. Which of the effects are most appealing? Do weapons that have a synergy with a specific style of attacks appeal to? Yes, I do. This is why 3 is the most appealing to me. Magic ability changes. Sorry. So what they want to do is Concentrated Blast becomes a 2H ability. So the Staff Armadyl you're going to spec, and you can use Sonic Wave, Wild Magic, Dragon Breath, Sonic Wave, or sorry, not Sonic Wave, but you can conk with a Staff Armadyl. I'm not sure how they're going to do the animation, but you're going to be able to conk with a Staff Armadyl. And I don't think you're really going to have any reason to switch to Wand and Core unless you want to use Magma Tempest. But again, using bleeds during Staff Armadyl is bad, so you probably wouldn't even want to do that. And then Sonic Wave and Magma Tempest become dual abilities. So my Staff Armadyl right now, you go to not Praise Wand, whatever these are going to be called, the tier 95 magic weapons. You go to tier 95 magic weapons, use Magma Tempest, use all your bleeds. You just do tons of damage, right? And yeah, they want to do this because the 2H magic has the critical strike boost theme, yet they don't have critical strike boost abilities. And yeah, the one thing that's probably bad, and they know about the impact is a lot of people buy noxious stabs for AFK magic, and stuff. People even buy stuff with Slisk's AFK with magic. I wonder how that would impact PVM. Like would people buy stuff with Slisk's for PVM? Like appraisals would become more for AOE AOEing instead of PVMing. I think appraisals would go down, but seismics would go up. I don't even know, honestly. If the price would go, I might even change the drop rate of Virago. I'm not even joking, because like things are old like that. Like Virago, when you're going for the drop log, you get like 20 seismic sets by the time you get a Vitalis. If they wanted to double the drop rate of Seismic 1 and Core of Virago, they should do it. I also think they should make getting the tier 88 Sea Singer 1 and Orb easier to get, because that's the biggest issue with wands, is that the tier 88 and tier 91 are too hard to get. Stabs are so easy to get compared to wands. I think that's an issue. I don't know how that has not been fixed. I would do that. I think as long as they did that, like literally double the drop rate of Seismic 1 and Core. I'm not even trolling. They should literally double it, because no one does the boss, and he takes so long to kill, and no one cares. And make Sea Singer 1 and Core easier to get. Like, it needs to be way easier to get. Because if they ship this like this, there's going to be some big economic problems, in my opinion. So I would just fix that. How does this play feel? Yeah, I will test this probably. When does this beta happen? I'm not even sure when. I don't think they even said when it's gonna happen. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about this. They showed some stuff about screenshots. Whoop-de-doo. So that's pretty much it. Overall, I mean, the thing I want to talk about with the wand being dyed is like people that dye their staff armor, they're probably barely gonna show it anymore. Well, actually, no, they will show it. I'm lying. So never mind. I'm lying about that. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. So tell me what you think. Overall, I don't. Again, I already said what I think about everything. So yeah, that's it. Bye.